So what you're saying is that you didn't like me posing that question here. You'd rather we dive into all of these trade rumors? Do you
Well,
think people really want to hear those? Is that what you're saying?
I do, and I also think I think we need to give love to what the Royals did yesterday because they took a significant starting pitcher off the market.
Okay, well, let's talk about that real quick here. And then I want to get your reaction to it right now. You guys had Matt Quartaro on yesterday. Seth Lugo gets a 2-year contract extension from the Royals with an option for a third year. It guarantees him $46 million over the next 2 seasons. He had an opt-out after this year. It does pull him off the market. So, JB, give your thoughts on what happened with Seth Lugo and why you think this was a good move for Kansas City as opposed to talking trade, as they said, 2 games under 500.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think Kansas City looks at their team and making the playoffs last year, and things haven't gone great this year, but it is fixable. And one of the good things about this team is the pitching and defense. And if you trade Lugo, you're not going to get a starter back at that level. And this is not a team that's selling at the deadline. They're buying at the deadline. They're trying to do what they can to stay in the race. That's why they traded for Adam Frazier and Randall Grichuk. They're not giving up. And if you trade Lugo, you're going to get prospects, and that's not what they're looking for. They're not looking for that. They're looking to maintain. And look, this is a guy with a 3.2 WAR this year, 7 wins, a 2.9 ERA after 19 starts. Like, he has been really consistent for them, right? And then you even look at his career, since 2021, his ERA's been under 3.5. Last year it was exactly at 3 after a league-leading 33 starts and 16 wins. So, he has just been money for them. And you want to keep your best starter. It's not like they gave him a 5-year deal. They gave him a 2-year deal with a vesting option. I know he's 35, but the way he pitches, he should age well. He should be able to get that vesting option and pitch at 36, 37, and even 38. I believe that. And so, I think that they really have something here, and I think sometimes the best moves are the ones that keep your own. And I think that was the case for Kansas City. Sometimes at the trade deadline, a promotion like the Brewers did with Jacob Mizorowski or an extension like the Royals did with Lugo end up being as good as any trade you could possibly make. So, Duke, I don't know how you felt about it, but I thought JJ and the Royals did a great job of getting the deal done. I'd say the average annual salary is appropriate based on this market, and the length is a Royal win. That's kind of how I viewed it.
Yeah, I liked it too. It's like the 1 week we didn't ask Matt about Lugo, because Lugo's been so good. He did
Right.
amazing. Like, we've been asking about him every week, and part of the thing that he has said to us is like nothing that he throws and pitches with surprises him. Like, he is told, like, okay, he's trying this pitch. Like, if you look at his Savant page, it's up to 10 different pitches that he throws, and it's just ridiculous that he'll just make up pitches on the fly. It's four seam, curveball, sinker, cutter, changeup, sweeper, slider, slow curve. Like, he's got a split. Yeah. Like, that's incredible to me, right? And so, to your point, JB, like, that will give him longevity because he has just invented these pitches, and he has that pitchability that is, it's hard to find for at any age. It's come to him late. So I really liked it. I think also moving forward, that it has some certainty for them with their pitching next year, right? Waka's still under control. Reagan's coming back hopefully in another month, but he's going to be under control there. Cameron's been very good. You got Lugo. So you got your starters for next year, which a lot of times at the deadline, you're always, in their situation, you'd like to see them have some long-term moves. Well, this is a long-term move for them, just keeping their own. So I liked it from that side of things. And I actually like the reason why, we're going to talk about the Royals later. The reason why I'm going to just say it now, I appreciate a team like the Royals who are trying to win. It's a smaller market team, smaller payroll that is trying to improve on the fringes. I wish other teams would do that when they're in a similar type of situation. And I like the fact that they're at least trying to do something. And who knows, they may have another move in them. I don't know. But the Caglione injury is kind of a bummer yesterday with the hammy. He's going to be out for a bit. And they still need some offense. But Grichuk is a credible right-handed bat. He's hitting righties and lefties, but he's always hit lefties. And Frazier's again an upgrade on the other part of their roster there, the bench and the versatile role player that he is.
Yeah. Fascinating. The Grichuk trade was so interesting, just as long as we're talking about the Royals, because those two teams had the same record. Now, obviously, they were in different leagues when the trade was done, right? They were both 51 and 54. Certainly, it feels like those playoff spots are more gettable for where Kansas City sits than maybe where Arizona sits. I think now what the Royals are 2 games under, Diamondbacks are 4, Diamondbacks 6 back, Royals 4 back. But even if it doesn't work, I mean, they gave up a relief pitcher who has touched the big leagues this year and probably will be part of the Diamondbacks' plans here in the not too distant future. But they, they add somebody that they needed desperately, like they needed a body right at that moment. I think that I'm not surprised that urgency came about after the Caglione injury to add someone, a Grichuk, a good teammate who started to swing the bat better of late, hasn't had quite the season he had a year ago, but a long history of hitting lefties pretty well. And 10 years in the big leagues, can still play at the corners, can DH, gives them a little bit of versatility against left-handed pitching at the very least, JP.
Yeah, and I would say the other big difference, I mean, besides the record that you're referring to and the league that you referred to, I think the biggest difference is the Diamondbacks have a significant amount of star players that are on expiring contracts, and
Right.
GM Mike Hazen had decided on Thursday that he was going to sell those contracts and be a seller at the deadline. And if you're going to do that, and you know you're going to trade Naylor, and now you're planning on trading Suarez and either Gallen or Kelly or both, when you know you're doing that, then why are you holding on to Grichuk? Why not get something back for him as well on another expiring contract? So I think, when you decide to sell your star players and go. Now, on the other side of things with Kansas City, the only player, significant player they would have to sell would have been Seth Lugo, and they decided, no, I'm going to extend him. We have the pitching staff. We can play defense. We have contact. We just don't have enough juice. We don't have enough impact offensively, and if we can't get the star impact guy, let's go try to fix the edges, and let's try to grind this out and see if we can't get there. But the Royals are continuing to build, so I think the status of the contracts of the players, your star players on your roster, plays a bigger factor than what is your record at this point.
Yeah, I think that's likely true, and we'll see. Hey, Arizona is a team that I know you guys are going to talk about a little bit later on today, because it does feel like they are moving closer to that. It does sound like getting Grichuk done on Saturday was a priority. The first 2 moves were certainly going to be Naylor and Grichuk, and then I think some of it too on that time has to do with the timing of the. Did you make it or not?
I did.
Your shot.
Yes, Kobe
Banked it in. That was
Banked it
louder than I expected.
Me too.
I can
But
tell.
It went.
Jim
It scored.
apparently just
Nothing but net.
fired an entire package of the pens. The garbage can.
It was
Whatever.
an empty bottle of my green drink, and I threw it probably 50 feet, and it hit off the wall and into the wastebasket. Kobe, score it.